No, I'm too bad to try. Never try to make it better. Poverty's stricken, we got to be getting it right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. And gentlemen. Here we go. What is going on? How y'all doing? Jamming some blues this morning? How's it going, guys? Friends, family, acquaintances, and strangers alike. How you guys doing? My name is Christopher Glenn, and you are tuned into another Saturday Shout Out. I got you good. Today's segment is Saturday Shout Out. What we do is we highlight all of the people the businesses, the organizations that we respect, that we admire, that we have worked with, and those that have helped the evolution of bottle share to get to where we are today. And one of the most important aspects of our growth and our evolution is all due to Vigor Branding. Okay, they are a local business. It is a branding agency that I was absolutely lucky enough to have been in contact. I was connected with Joseph, who is the principal of Vigor Branding, who I'm going to be bringing on here in just one second. And it was at what was it at? It was, I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask Joseph. My brain was still really messed up back then. But anyway, I'm gonna bring him in because he has taken bottle share from what it was initially. The bottle share, we didn't really have a brand identity. We didn't really know exactly where we were going. And so a gift from above named Joseph came through and has been working with us and built up this brand from absolutely nothing to where it is today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in on the screen and introduce to you all my buddy, great friend, Joseph, my man. There he is, right there in the flesh, looking sweaty, just getting back from a run.
Hey, bud, I can't hear you.
Repping. You can't hear me at all?
I can't hear you right now. Can you hear me?
Let me see if there's any. I can hear you. Yes, I can.
I can't hear you, though.
Interesting. All right, let's see here. And we're going to mute him. We're going to unmute him. All right. Could you hear me earlier?
I can't hear you at all, man. I just checked my audio. Should be good.
All right. Can you hear me? Check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah, I lost your audio as soon as you flipped over.
That is very strange. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna kick you out and then come back in.
I can't hear you at all, man. I'm so sorry.
Let's see. Remove. All right. Again, we are live. This is the kind of shit. Sorry, this is the kind of stuff that seems to be happening so frequently. Please do bear with us as we learn these new platforms. I'm using something called B.live right now, which broadcasts. Hey, he disconnected his stream. Yeah, have him reconnect. Thank you so much, Tilly. You were the absolute best. I'm going to give Joseph a call right now and see if we can't bring him. There we go. Showing stream.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can most certainly hear you, Joseph. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely. There we are.
Oh, there we go. You did it. So I was telling them for just a quick minute, kind of not necessarily how we met, but what you've done for Bottle Share thus far, taking us from absolutely nothing to this recognizable brand that people are really starting to pay attention to. And so I wanted to discuss with you how you determined to take us, through the process of determining where we were and knowing where we needed to be and how you got us there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big question. I don't even know where to begin, but it's what we do at Vigor over and over again for our clients. So it almost comes like second nature to us as far as literal process. Mm-hmm. It starts by, I think, digging into your heart and soul and then trying to figure out how we can communicate that heart and soul to the world in a way that makes sense for them quickly, as well as makes it categorizable for them in their brand sphere. I mean, we normally work with food, beverage, and hospitality clients, and so it's a little different working for a nonprofit. But obviously, the symbiosis there makes a lot of sense considering what your focus is. But
Mhm.
when it comes to nonprofit, we all have a heart. At least I like to believe so.
Yeah,
I think the question becomes, where does my money, where does my charity, where does my focus go as a consumer, as a person, when I have all those choices? Like, why would I give anything to Bottle Share as opposed to, the American Heart Association or one of the litany of other organizations? So for us, it was really about finding, how do we excavate that heartbeat from you, because Bottle Share really started and is you, in a way that people can quickly understand, process, categorize in their sphere, and hopefully develop some affinity for, because it aligns with their values.
certainly. So, absolutely fantastic response. You did say something that kind of clicked with me. Why you said, why would we give our time, our resources, our energy, our money to Bottle Share versus, say, another nonprofit organization, American Heart Diseases, so whatever it was you said. What was it about Bottle Share that connected and resonated with Vigor Branding, so much so that you all said, okay, we're going to work with you guys and we're going to help build you up?
Yeah, great question. I think for us, while we would love to work with a lot of different organizations out there, we do have to be selective with where we put our efforts. And when it came to Bottle Share, what I saw is a place that could have almost immediate, measurable local effect, good effect for people.
Mhm.
There was a very tangible short line between our efforts and actually doing good in the world, as opposed to on the macro scale, when you look at American Heart or Susan G. Komen or one of these other large organizations, it to me feels like our effort, our time, our money would just be kind of thrown into nothingness. And I don't mean that rude, because I know that it would go to help in some way, but being able to see that effect, being able to measure it, and being able to look back and say, because we did all of this, we saw this, and this being this sort of gelatinous unknown, I just felt it was a lot clearer for Bottle Share as opposed to a lot of those other organizations out there. It made more sense, and I feel like we could very tangibly see the positive effects of our work in the real world. And I think that's what we're looking for, is knowing that what we've done has created good. Yeah.
Very cool. So, in the past, I mean, we've been working together now for what, a year and a half, 2 years, 1 year? How long?
Yeah, over a year now. Yep.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So I remember going through this process. I was completely unprepared, and I had learned so much from you and from your team through that process. And it wasn't an overnight process. It actually took several months, where you all interviewed me, you all interviewed members of the board of directors, you interviewed family members, and then came up with kind of three key words that were to describe Bottle Share, and then you launched it from there. It was an incredibly enlightening process, and I remember learning things about like visual language, which was really really cool to me, because I had never really heard of that before. Um, and you had mentioned measurable success from your contributions to the organization. Have you been able to see a measurable success, or have you been able to see where we were, where we are now, and tie it to how you've helped us?
Yeah. And when I say success, I didn't mean just solely for Vigor. I think it's also seeing the success of the company that we work for too. That very much is an accolade for us and something that we love to
And that's what I
feel
meant.
and see.
For Bottle Share.
Yeah, and definitely. I mean, I see an organization that's way more put together now than it had been.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easier to quickly understand what it is, what it does, and then obviously I think the literal measurement metrics, like how much money's been raised and the opportunities that are coming in, and even the softer side of the intangibles, like Christopher's, your confidence in speaking about it, and your organization when you speak about it, and how you present it, all has improved so drastically. which I think, begets those larger donations, those larger partnerships that we're seeing more and more of. So yeah, I think it feels like such a big win for us every time you win. And I think that's the kinds of relationships that we thrive on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I remember the first time that we met. It was at the symposium, correct? The craft beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Georgia Craft Beer or Georgia Craft Brewers Guild, something symposium. And anyway, somebody had connected us and said, "Hey, I need you to come over here and talk to Joseph." And we sat down. And I remember kind of nagging you and bothering you after that and be like, "Hey, can I come in talk to you? Can I talk to you?" And you had actually provided me with a great opportunity to come in and make a presentation to you and your team at your office.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, man, I was so freaking nervous. I remember I had to like call my sister on the phone while I was on my way there to get like a pep talk. I know that you remember me having to even have to call you at times.
Right.
Because I was, still recovering in such a strong way. And I remember that day and I thought, man, I really screwed that up. I wasted everybody's time. And I walked out of there bummed out. But then I remember, you and I continued to talk and you said, let's do this, let's rock and roll. Let's take this brand to the next level. And you've done just that. It's been absolutely incredible, and to see not just not just the logo, but you have helped develop what Bottle Share stands for and what Bottle Share represents. You pulled that out of me. You pulled that out of all of us, and categorized it and made it much more simple and easy for not only me to understand exactly what we're doing, but for others as well that are on the outside trying to understand what Bottle Share is doing. How did you go about doing that with your clients?
Yeah, it's a process that we've developed over, a very long time. I mean, almost 2 decades at this point. It starts by having, I think, really smart people in a room. Like my team is fantastic. I joke, but only half joke that I'm the idiot in the room. They really are the smarter people in the room. They have huge hearts and even bigger brains in a lot of ways. So it starts there. I think, any process out there is only as good as the energy and the thinking behind that process. And in our 4 walls, I think we have a great brain trust and a great heart trust at the same time. It starts with, questions that are designed to evoke conversation. And in that conversation, we're all trained to actively listen and try to peel out moments of insight and profound remarks. There's also exercises and workshops that are designed to focus the team. And not only are we there to excavate meaning and excavate that thought and that profound, unique thinking, we're also there to build knowledge and insights into your own brand. That way, we get buy-in, and this strategy that we create is at some point becomes not Vigor's work or Vigor's strategy, but yours. And there's a sense of ownership built along the way. And that's such a critical, almost undefinable moment when a brand and a group of people in that brand start to develop ownership and love for what they're creating and realize that it's them and it's not us. I think failure happens when a strategy is considered Vigor's strategy, and that's what the Vigor team wants, and it's like that's not what it's about at all. We're just the facilitators. We're just the Sherpa in a lot of ways, the guide, and a lot of times that brilliance and that profound thinking and that heart, it already exists. It's just our job to clear the dust or kind of shave away the sides, sand it down, and polish it up. And so there's a lot of workshops, a lot of interviews, and a lot of research work that goes into it that then gets distilled down into strategic framework that is proprietary to us. Like we developed this framework. There's definitely some correlations to how I've seen other agencies and brand strategy companies handle the way they handle it as well. But ours is different in a number of ways. And I think one of those main ways is understanding the human dynamic and the human drive in what we call a projected layer. And then how our brand is organized and built to speak to people on that layer. And we spend a lot of time thinking about that. We spend a lot of time supporting that with data and insights and information that we gather to make sure that the brands that we design are literally just that, designed. I think when you say the word design, people immediately jump to visual outputs and the way things look. And while that's a part of it, that design, design, the word is just so much deeper. And I like to say that without strategy, without purpose, that design is just decoration. And decoration has no business use. It is purely aesthetic. It is in a lot of ways masturbatory. It's just to get one person excited about it. And if there's no purpose behind it. And so we look to inject a lot of purpose behind every little thing that we do, because in that purpose is the goal of what design really is, and that's to communicate and to create connection and start to tie something closer to humans. And I think that's the way we see brands, as a very human endeavor, meaning that brands they're not companies. A company can exist if it has the money to actually, file a corporation or something. But a brand has a heartbeat. It has a brain. It has a group behind it that are really very real. And I think the brands that understand themselves as human can start to be more human in what they do, as opposed to being domineering or greed fueled, or the litany of other negatives that come with what we consider corporations.
Certainly. So I love that every time we've spoken, when we're collaborating with, say, another brewery, and Vigor is, by the way, anybody that's watching right now, Vigor, what they do is they design our can artwork, right, for all of our bottle share volumes. So we've had two volumes so far. In the fourth quarter, coming up here really soon, we're going to have a collaboration with Dry County Brewing Company. It's going to be a full-blown bottle share volume. It'll be bottle share volume 3. And of course, Vigor is going to take over and design the can and all the artwork. And I remember having a conversation previously where you had told all of us, you said, it's not just about the artwork, it's about the visual language. Would you kind of describe a little bit more what exactly visual language means to you?
Yeah. It's a term that we use to kind of describe identity, specifically visual identity design. So I think the old hat, or the old school way of thinking, is that once I have a logo and some colors, that I'm good, and that's what my brand will be then. And you see when it happens, they just slap the logo on everything without much else thinking behind it. We like to talk about a visual language, or just a language in general, because this is a communication ask. It is a communication discipline. And so when we look at every single touch point, whether it's a can design, a t-shirt, the interiors of a space, whether that be a restaurant or an office or a brewery, every one of those things is a moment to not just hold a logo on a wall or on a thing, but to further that look and feel, to continue to develop that story. And that is very language driven. So rather than having just, the bottle share really large on the side of a can, the question becomes, how do we tell the story of this union between bottle share and the brewery? How do we evoke a sense of the brewery and mix it in with bottle share? And then how do we tell a story about the product itself? Because these have to sell. And giving back to bottle share is only one facet of that sale. I mean, the suds, they have to be good. And the only way that people is going to know if they're good is they want to try it. If they only want to try it if it looks good and it kind of communicates the flavor and the vibe.
Certainly.
So we do a lot of work around that to figure out what that flavor is, what that vibe is, and then how does that correlate to bottle share and then that corresponding brewery. So when we say visual language, we're talking about typography and colors and patterns and textures, type treatments, title treatments, and then actual written words, like what's the tone of voice, which is all evocative of that personality layer, which was those 3 traits that you had talked about. So when we look at design work, our first questions are, will our patron love this? Is this really going to speak to them? Does this help position the brand even better? And is this particular thing evoking these 3 personality traits? And if the answer to any of those is a miss, then we have to rethink, or we have to adjust the design accordingly, so we're creating the best in class solution for that particular touch point.
Gotcha. Copy that. So, and again, everybody that's watching, um, you know, Vigor hasn't just done our logo like Joseph is talking about. It's the visual language. It's the meaning, the soul, the spirit, the love, the heart, the family, the team. It's everything behind it, and you know, of course, along with campaigning, you know, with that visual language so that people can start to recognize when they see that specific brand identity, they know what the story is behind it. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And you've definitely helped us achieve that and continue to achieve that as well. For example, the Believe in Beer can art, the design that you guys did. It was so cool, that process. It was really neat. We were able to bring a bunch of people in on it, including Henry over at Mobcraft. Just to give you guys an example of what Joseph and Vigor did, is they provided us with several different options, different directions that we could have gone based on what we were trying to achieve. And through that process, through that journey, through that adventure, we landed on what the can art for Believe in Beer looks like right now. So it's got the barrels on there, the blending barrels edition. It's a fruited sour ale. You know, Bottle Share is a part of it. Maltcraft is the facilitator. We got to talk about the Believe in Beer Craft Industry Relief Fund that Bottle Share and the Brewers Association were able to collaborate on. And I think we've raised over $15,000 just from donations alone. And we've got from the sales of the Believe in beer coming back through. I mean, we could reach, you know, an additional $25,000 just from the sale of that beer. And it's so cool to think that from the very beginning, before the beer was even brewed, we had this design. We knew what it was going to be like. We knew that the beer was going to be good. Now we knew that the language and the identity of the can of beer itself, the project, was going to look good, crisp, clean, and it was right on. And so that was absolutely phenomenal going through that process, especially because there were others that were able to go through that process with me as well. And and so, you know, we're of course absolutely super appreciative of it. Now, with that being said, you know, you've worked with us so much. Are there other brands out there that you're currently working with, in local, national, anything like any updates from Vigor for us?
Gosh, great question. So we just launched this craft. I shouldn't say craft. Gosh, that's so overused. A cold brew brand actually in their suite of coffees. So we're pretty pumped about that. It's actually up in Dry County's neck of the woods,
Okay, cool.
and that is Apotheos. So we're pretty pumped about that. But we do a lot of work that is not in Atlanta, not in Georgia, which is kind of interesting. So we work all over the nation. And one of the beers that we were really pumped about was for a hospitality company in Denver, Colorado, and we created this brand called VH Beer, which was basically a derivative of their restaurant, which is View House. So they wanted to launch a line of beers, and they wanted to get some juice from the View House following, but also be its own brand. So it was a really interesting ask because we had to tread the line of making sure that this doesn't become a white label look or a private label look, because that would be very cheesy and not very, I think, on point with who they want to be. And so through VH Beer, we were able to create this amazing look. We created all the names for their flagship line of beers and this amazing collage look. And then we're able to animate those collages to just really create a fun vibe for them. And they have taken that and run. And from what I understand, it's quite successful.
Awesome.
You know, we would love to do a lot more with beer brands out there. I think especially as craft beer tries to navigate what's next. I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes here, y'all. Oof. All right. I'm gonna die by the time I'm off this phone.
Yeah, what's the virus breath?
But it's like in what was that world, or the Lost World or something like that with Will Ferrell, where he's getting like completely, yeah. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to do more. I think the beer and brewery world just has so many challenges ahead of it right now, especially leveraging the oversaturation of the market, and I think the brands that are really going to stand up aren't the ones that can make this amazing beer, but I think the ones that can make amazing beer, tell an amazing story that's believable and real and tangible, and also just hold a place in the consumer's heart. And I think there are a number of brands that do that quite well. And sometimes they get some, dirty looks or even people thumbing their noses at them, which I think is hysterical. But one such company, I think, is Scofflaw. I think they're doing a fantastic job here in Atlanta. And I think they're doing a fantastic job, not just because they make a really good beer, but because they've had the balls to actually just have an attitude and just stick with it and not shy away from it. Yeah, whereas so many brands out there, they're so scared of putting people off. They're so scared of ruffling feathers or being not accepted by a group of people that they end up being so vanilla and so boring and so safe that they actually realize their fears. The brands that are fearless and they come out saying that, you know what, some people may not like this and it's okay by us, and they create something that like a group of people will love. Those are the ones that actually dominate and I think will survive the test of time.
Well, I tell you what,
which wasn't the question you asked, but I answered it anyway.
No, and I loved it. I loved it. Look, man, any what's the word I'm looking for here? Anything that you have to provide and give and offer when it comes to advice or how you feel about certain ways, especially with what you do. I don't care if you're answering the question or not. I just love to listen to it. So we've got a question here from Thomas Conway. He says, "What's the next big Vigor bottle share project?"
It's a good question.
That is a good.
I think you kind of allude to it. I think it's that Dry County collaboration. We're pretty pumped about that.
Yep.
A lot of good things happening with Dry County, so I think that's going to be the next big one. But that changes, I think, almost every week as you get more and more opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas, and also Bottle Share has become the very first corporate level member of Bottle Share Collective, which provides them. So say, for example, and pardon me for one moment, Joseph, but I'm going to explain Bottle Share Collective. So Bottle Share Collective, say, for example, right now we have, and I'll just throw a number out there, 100 applicants in line waiting for grants from Bottle Share. And we're continuing to raise money so that we can continue to grant out these checks for the people that are in this waiting line. Now, the advantage of being with Bottle Share Collective is that you don't have to wait, right? As soon as somebody suffers an extreme hardship outside of the workplace, we're going to work with that brand or that craft brewery to set up a fundraiser, and we're going to offer a match grant. So this person doesn't have to jump in line and wait. We can start making them money right away. So that's a huge advantage of what Bottle Share Collective is. And so Dry County Brewing Company became the very first corporate member of Bottle Share Collective, which offers them a $5,000 match grant for their business and a $2,500 match grant for any associate or worker of theirs that falls on hard times, cannot work, cannot produce income, cannot feed their family, cannot pay the bills because they're not working. Bottle Share jumps in there. We host a fundraiser with them, and then we donate the money right away so they don't have to work. So with that being said, with Dry County becoming the first corporate level sponsor, and they're also corporate level Bottle Share Collective member, they're also becoming a corporate level sponsor for Bottle Share. So Thomas, what we're working on right now with Vigor is that the visuals, the story behind it. We're working on creating not just the collaboration beer can art, but introducing to the world what the Dry County and Bottle Share relationship looks like. Would you say that's a pretty fair description there, Joseph?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really huge opportunity. We've been trying to get our mind around exactly how that story unfolds, and then how do we communicate that story in a way that's extremely easy to understand, because we don't always have the benefit of Christopher in front of you explaining it. So that's a big one. And I think part of that is the first beer and the first collab that we're going to launch together. Yeah, certainly. And I'm really looking forward to that. So that's Thomas, that's our next big project. Thank you so much for that question. That was a damn good question, dude. Yeah, thanks, Thomas.
Joseph, we've been on here for 30 minutes, brother. Is there anything else that you want to share with us? Any cool new news? Breaking news, anything like that?
Not really at the moment. I mean, we're really excited about bringing on a new junior copywriter. That's a person who writes the fun words
Oh, cool.
and social strategists. So we've been looking. We have some great applicants. I'm excited to meet over the next few weeks. So I'm pretty pumped about that with Vigor. And then
Awesome.
we've also been working on honing and continuing to make our brand strategy development process stronger and more effective, as well as launching a digital tool where we're able to house that brand strategy information for our clients moving forward. That way they have easy access to the information and the files and all the nuances. And those are things that we've been working on for the last couple of months. And it's funny, I can plug the book that I've been writing, but I have been writing it for about, God, 5 years now. So I really need to hunker down and get it done, but it's a rewrite of another book that I'd launched. So a lot of exciting things happening with Vigor. And, I think even in a year like 2020, we continue to practice what we preach and live our own brand in many ways. And that brand is all about being bull-hearted and not bull-headed. And what that means to us is just doing good in the world and encouraging others to do good in the world. And I think finding, focusing and finding the commonalities between us all as opposed to the differences, and celebrating the differences for all their beauty. And I think that humility and goodwill are in all of us, and it's something that we need to remind us, each of us about, especially in these times right now.
Brother, this is why I love associating with you. You are a fantastic individual, dude. I love it. And
Thank you.
This is why surrounding yourself with a team is so important. And not just any team, but a team of really, really, really good people, high quality individuals that lead with their heart. And you are one of those people, my friend. I appreciate our friendship, our relationship so very much. And it was an absolute blessing for Nancy. That's who it was. It was Nancy that connected us.
Yeah, Nancy Palmer. Yeah,
that's right. So I'm eternally thankful to her for introducing me to you, and then for us to continue on with this friendship, with this relationship, with the business relationship, and everything else. And for those of you that are just joining in or might not have heard what Joseph had said, is that he wants to work with more craft breweries. So participate more heavily in the craft beverage industry, in the craft brewing industry. And so for those of you out there that are watching or paying attention, hey, look at what they've done for us, right? It is cut and dry. It is clear. Everything that they've done for us has absolutely worked 1,000%. It's been absolutely beautiful, and they've developed it. They've grown it. They've they didn't just plant the seed, but they watered it. And that's what's most important, and that's why we continue to grow, is because of the help that Vigor has pushed from behind. Not even from behind. They don't walk behind. They don't walk in front. They lock arms with us, and they walk side by side, and they get it done. And it's been a magical thing. So for any of my brewery friends out there, if you are looking to reestablish your brand identity, or looking to just establish it from the very get-go, please either reach out to me or reach out to Joseph directly. Joseph, if you want to leave any of your contact information.
Yeah. I think that, the best way is to go have a look at what we're all about. And there's a contact form on there that'll start the process. And, we make it a priority to reach out to people within 24 hours, if not sooner, and start that conversation about what you're looking to accomplish. There's so many challenges out there. We're ready to help face them together, like Christopher said. And I just want to add, I think it's really unfair that, I end up being the person on interviews, because behind, not even behind me, but like Vigor is not me. It is really the team of individuals from Natalie and Maria and JP or Aaron and Teresa and Laura and Michael and the list goes on. And Joy, oh my gosh, Joy, don't kill me. I spent a ton of time with Joy this week, and awesome. Maybe and I can't believe I didn't say her first, but they're all just such great people, bringing so many different perspectives and so many different facets to heart to the team and to our clients. And Vigor would not be anything if it were just me. It's everything because of them.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree with you more. I feel the same way about my team. First and foremost, my family that's always had my back, that's pushed me, that's provided me with this opportunity to live out this dream, live out this purpose. They believe in it, all the way to you, Tilly, Dustin,
Yeah.
everybody that's been there and continues to be there, everybody that supports, everybody that buys the beer, drinks the beer, enjoys the beer, talks about Bottle Share, orders our swag, allows us the opportunity. What you all do is you create this beautiful working mechanism that allows us to send out checks to people in need. I mean, just to say that we've sent out more than $100,000 in our first year is absolutely fantastic. And we got a rather slow start. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline now. So I can't even imagine what year 2 is going to look like. It's going to be so much fun, dude.
It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. So you want to tell them the website and maybe like an email or a phone number or anything like that you'd like to share with everybody?
Yeah, I think the two things would be the URL. It's Vigor, VIGOR, branding.com. And you can do the same thing in Instagram. Find us on Instagram at Vigor Branding. And we'd love to connect there, and we'd love to see what you're working on and share and just have some good community.
Awesome.
Don't bother calling. I never answer my phone.
I can attest to that. That is a fact.
That's true. Like, text me, Christopher. I can always step out, but text me.
He's like, damn it. Looks down at the phone. Nope. Awesome, man. Well, we're at 37 minutes right now, so we're gonna go ahead and close this up. Do you have any last words for everybody?
No, just thank you so much, Christopher. And I continue to be inspired by you and your strength and your journey as well. It's been absolutely amazing to have you. Just every time I talk to you, it's just such a vast improvement from that day one. And it gives me faith in humans' ability to be strong and to not lose faith and just keep on pushing forward, even in the hardest of times. And so I hope that you, and I'm pretty sure you will, maintain that strength and continue to help everyone else. And it's been amazing.
Thank you so much, man. That means the absolute worst. That means the absolute world to me. I can't. Obviously, it means so much I can't even speak. So thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. It's been great working with you from day one. And I look forward to looking back and having a beer 10 years from now and saying, "Holy shit! Look what we have done."
Hell, what a ride! Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so very much for spending some time with us today, Joseph. I'm enthralled that you took the time to sit down and talk with us, and thank you so very much.
Absolutely. And again, part of my appearance, I just went for a run, and apparently I need to shave and get some Just for Men. My goodness. All right. I got a busy weekend ahead of me, apparently.
Keep it going, brother. Keep it going.
All right. Have a good one, Christopher. Cheers.
All right. Thank you, bro. Take it easy.
Bye now.
Ladies and gentlemen, so that was Joseph with Vigor Branding. That is my guy. That is my brother. I absolutely love that gentleman right there. He is very inspiring. He knows exactly what he's doing. He is very, very talented at what he does, and he runs a spectacular team over at Vigor Branding. So once again, if you are in the market to reestablish your brand identity, to brand yourself, to start from scratch, those are the guys that you're going to want to see. It is a premium, top tier service that they offer. I guarantee it. I promise you. And if you look back from our social media posts, all of our videos, anything like that from the very beginning until right now, you will see a massive difference in our brand identity and how we've grown and the visual language and how we describe ourselves through the Bottle Share logo. So guys, thank you all so very much for tuning in today. My name is Christopher Glenn. I am the founder and executive director of Bottle Share. Once again, we brew hope. Thank you all very much for tuning in.